Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Kevin Looney was a successful team player for the Warriors. Would it be good if he returned? Kevin Looney is hardly playing for the Pelicans, and he would probably have some opportunities with the Warriors when Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis are out. During his time with the Warriors, Looney earned the title of fan favorite. The 30-year-old center was a reliable player, able to exploit his strengths and make decisive plays on both ends of the court every night. Looney's contributions resulted in 3 titles alongside Stephen Curry in the Bay Area. Looney has a contract option for next season, which may cause the Pelicans to want to keep him to have more options in the offseason trade market. If the player suddenly becomes available in the free agent market, the Warriors could bring him back to the Bay Area for his second stint with the franchise, as a high-level supporting player. A 37-year-old 5-time All-Star and NBA Finals hero should be an asset the Warriors keep tabs on. Kevin Love still averages 12.0 rebounds per 36 minutes, which would easily rank first on the Warriors, Akeley wrote Tuesday. He's also still a threat from the perimeter, shooting 36.4% from 3. The 37-year-old is in the last year of a 2-year deal, making him a prime buyout candidate. Love is one of the reasons Curry doesn't have 5 championships on his resume. The former Cleveland Cavaliers forward was tasked with defending Curry late in a win-or-go-home Game 7 NBA Finals contest in 2016, and there's no question he delivered. Love's unexpectedly impressive lateral quickness forced Curry to throw up a prayer with the Warriors trailing 92-89 with less than 40 seconds left. Curry's jumper was off the mark, and the Cavaliers went on to secure a series-ending 93-89 victory. While it's unlikely Love will be a part of another clutch NBA moment, he's still a serviceable role player who can find success from beyond the arc. Considering that perimeter shooting is still an area of improvement for the Dubs, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring Love on board this season if he gets bought out by the Utah Jazz. Kristaps Porzingis recovery. The Golden State Warriors acquired Kristaps Porzingis at the February 5 trade deadline. The veteran big man solves a long-standing issue in the middle of the floor for Steve Kerr's team. However, he is yet to suit up for the franchise. When healthy, Porzingis projects to be a near-ideal partner for Stephen Curry. The veteran big is a legitimate 3-level scorer and can provide spacing in the pick and roll, on the weak side, or offer a vertical threat in the dunker spot. Therefore, Warriors fans are likely eager to see what he can do once on the court. In a recent news conference, Porzingis provided an encouraging update regarding his health, noting that he's already clicked with the team's medical staff and is aiming to make his debut for the franchise after the All-Star break. I think it's a great opportunity to turn a new page from what I've seen and the conversations I've had so far with the medical staff here, the people that work here, Porzingis said. I have to say I'm very surprised and very optimistic. In really, really good hands, if not some of the best hands. And I think that will also add to already what I have in my mind. So I look forward to really having a surprisingly good post-All-Star break period. I think we clicked in the first couple of conversations. And I already had heard good things. I think now I just put the pieces together and I was like, okay, I see how these guys are some of the best. So I think it's just going to help me to be healthy. Porzingis will have the added motivation of being on an expiring contract. He will become an unrestricted free agent in the summer. If he wants to remain in the Bay Area long-term, he will need to prove he can remain healthy and make a positive contribution on the court. He's proven he can be part of a championship team, having been a key component of the Boston Celtics roster that won in 2024. With the All-Star break right around the corner, it shouldn't be too long before we see Porzingis suiting up for the Warriors. It will be interesting to see how his presence can elevate the roster on both sides of the floor. After all, it's been a long time since the franchise had a legitimate rim deterrent on defense, especially one that can make such a positive impact on the offensive end, too. Steph Curry will continue to be monitored by the Warriors to ensure a full recovery from his knee injury. With the Warriors 3 months into a 2025-26 NBA season now certain to land far short of their expectations, There should be zero doubt about how to proceed with Stephen Curry's tender right knee. Put it on ice. Literally and figuratively. For an extended period. At least a month. I think there's a good chance that he doesn't play till after the break, Coach Steve Kerr told reporters Saturday before the Warriors and Lakers tipped off in Los Angeles. That's prudent. Curry has hobbled through various levels of discomfort since banging his right knee in November. He took another blow on January 30th that so aggravated it he was forced from the game. He was diagnosed with runner's knee, which generally requires at least 3 weeks to subside. It sometimes takes as much as 2 months. Sitting Curry through the February 12, 18 NBA All-Star break will provide him with a full 20 days of recovery. The bare minimum. Which is not enough. There are 2 explicit reasons to slow-play Curry's return than to simply alleviate the discomfort to accelerate his return. The first being Steph's basketball future not only for the rest of the season but beyond it. The second, which links directly with the first, is the state of the Warriors. When Jimmy Butler III went down with a torn right ACL on January 19, it torched any realistic chance of Golden State making a deep NBA playoff run. Curry knew it, as did anyone else in the locker room, the coach's quarters or the front office. The Warriors immediately became a marginally better squad than they were before acquiring Butler last February. With 17 days remaining before the NBA trade deadline, CEO Joe Lacob and General Manager Mike Dunleavy set out to remedy that. Jonathan Kuminga wanted out, and the Warriors wanted to honor that request. Knowing they couldn't replace Butler, they sniffed around the league in hopes of finding a deal that would allow them to at least improve on what they call the margins. That plan was scrapped on January 28, when Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo essentially put himself on the market. The Warriors, visualizing a partnership with Curry, prepared an offer that was rejected by the Bucks. What now? With Curry already sidelined for an indefinite period, the Warriors pivoted and traded Buddy Hield and Kuminga to the Atlanta Hawks for 7'2" big man Kristaps Porzingis and his abundant injury history. Porzingis, according to Kerr, won't be available until sometime after the All-Star break. The 27 games that follow the break will not define this season for the Warriors. They'll be in 8th place in the Western Conference, and more likely to drop than climb. A top 4 finish, already a fantasy, is out. A top 6 finish, achievable before Butler went down, is profoundly implausible. To expect Curry and Porzingis, assuming both are healthy when the season resumes on February 19, to rescue a scrappy but certifiably sub-mediocre roster is an unfair proposition. While there are reasons to play a healthy Porzingis, mostly to evaluate him for purposes beyond this season, there is no need for that with Curry. To bring Steph back for the final 6 weeks is to wonder what, exactly, is Golden State's goal? Looking at their place in the conference hierarchy, it's logical for the Warriors to take the long view, as in 2026 to 27. To consider playing Porzingis sparingly and Curry even more sparingly after the break. Should the Warriors have offered 3 unprotected first-round picks for Murphy? The answer to this question is a resounding yes. And it's even more resounding now that we know what the Warriors ended up getting for Kuminga. But first, let's go over why Murphy is worth so much. He's a 25-year-old 6 feet 8 inches wing who can score at all 3 levels. He's shooting 38% from 3, and his driving and passing are getting better by the day. In 4 February games, he's averaging 5.5 assists to go along with 29.5 points. So if it really would have cost the Warriors just their 2026, 2028, and 2030 first-round picks, they should have done it. Now, Golden State has almost no way to get materially better this offseason. The Warriors have just one player under contract for next season making between $12.6 million and $56.7 million, and that's Draymond Green. Technically he isn't actually under contract, player option for $27.7 million, but it can be assumed he'll be back. So if the Warriors were trying to make a Murphy-like trade in the offseason, they'd likely have to trade Green, who would likely be viewed as more of a negative asset than Kuminga, especially to a rebuilding team, and they'd have to convince the franchise legend to opt into his deal just to trade him, which is cold. The Warriors needed to get something better than Kristaps Porzingis for Kuminga. Even if it cost 3 firsts, they needed to use this opportunity to get the final piece of the championship puzzle for the 2026-27 season. Now they have Porzingis, who is a free agent after this season. In theory, the Warriors could sign and trade him, but then they'd be hard-capped at the first apron, which would force them to salary dump Green or something like that just to stay cap legal. And that's not even considering that Porzingis would have to agree to this sign-and-trade and the other team would have to want the oft-injured big as well. What's far more likely to happen is the Warriors essentially run it back next season, hoping they thread a needle to re-sign both Porzingis and Anthony Melton. In a best-case scenario that features Jimmy Butler returning to form, Stephen Curry not dropping off and the rest of the roster staying healthy, the Warriors would be a strong team. But even then, they'd be one piece away, a piece like Trey Murphy 3. And what makes Murphy even more of a no-brainer is he's under contract through 2028-29 at a bargain rate, so even if the Warriors' contention era ended sooner than expected, they could trade Murphy for some of the draft capital they gave up. In conclusion, Golden State made a mistake not being more aggressive for Murphy. Pat Spencer is in great form. Pat Spencer has been with the Golden State Warriors organization for a few years now, but it wasn't until last week that he earned a standard NBA deal, allowing him to continue to play for the team after hitting the 50-game active mark on his two-way contract. He scored double digits in the past 4 games he's played, finishing with 17 in Monday's win over the Grizzlies. Part of his recent rise doesn't sit right with fans, though, and it has nothing to do with him. Against Memphis, the 29-year-old guard started, playing a team-high 32 minutes, as did Brandon Podziemski, but he came off the bench. Spencer is averaging 29.5 minutes in the 4 games he's played this month, as Steph Curry hasn't played this month due to a knee injury that will keep him out of the All-Star game. Having Spencer to turn to, especially amid the team's injuries, is nice, but the fact that he is averaging nearly 30 minutes per game so far this month isn't reassuring for the team's young guards. Podziemski is averaging 25.8 minutes per game, and Will Richards is averaging 16.5 minutes. Yes, the latter is just a rookie who was a second-round pick, but keep in mind that Spencer averaged only 6.4 minutes per game last season. Spencer didn't play in his first NBA game with the Warriors until the 2023-24 season, when he averaged 4.3 minutes in just 6 contests. Pat Spencer's rise has been great, yet concerning, for Warriors. Golden State has a 2-2 record so far this month, and both wins wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Spencer. As mentioned, he had 17 in a 1-point win on Monday, and in last Thursday's 4-point win over Phoenix, he had a season-high 20 points in 32 minutes. In that same game, Podziemski had 0 points, 0 of 3, in 12 minutes. Richards had 7, 2 of 6, in 27 minutes. Spencer even outscored Moses Moody, who had 6 points on 2 of 7 shooting in 27 minutes. To be fair, though, that was the first time in 12 games that the 23-year-old hadn't scored in double digits. This isn't meant to be a slight against Moody, but it helps put Spencer's role into perspective. His unconventional journey to the NBA is special and a testament to how hard he's worked. It's impossible not to root for Spencer, even if you're not a Warriors fan. But he isn't supposed to be outshining the team's young guards, particularly Podziemski, the number 19 pick in the 2023 draft. Golden State will continue to rely on Spencer, at least until Curry returns, and should do so even after that. He's on too hot a run to ignore. Let's see how long it will go on. We're not going to doubt him, just the front office.